Hello, everyone, and welcome to a film called The Female Man, which would be solely based on Joanna Russ's novel called The Female Man. It is a groundbreaking feminist sci-fi novel, and it was first published in 1975, although it still correlates to things that are going on today. It challenges gender normalities, and it redefines speculative fiction in itself, honestly. It is based in a world where there are four alternate versions of the same woman, and they collide across multiple different dimensions, well, four different dimensions. And their identities, their experiences, and their struggles with gender and society unravel in a very gripping, genre bending narrative of resistance, self discovery, and survival. A few themes of the film would be gender and identity, the fluidity of identity and the impact of gender roles, a feminist dystopia, a critique of patriarchal oppression and societal expectations, science fiction and alternate realities, the power of speculative fiction in reimagining gender norms, and survival and resistance, how different versions of the same woman navigate oppression. So I always found that was very interesting, that these thematic elements come out within the novel, and I think within a film it would be great for our female viewers today, especially with what is going on in the United States at the moment with women and bodily autonomy. Anywho, the story follows, like I said, four alternate versions of the same woman: Janine, Janet, Joanna, and Jael, who exist in different realities but cross paths due to Jael's intervention. So each version of this woman experiences a distinct world. What are those worlds, you may ask? Well, Janine lives in a reality where the Great Depression never ended, and it enforces traditional gender roles. Janet is from While Away, a utopian future that has no men. Yeah, that's right. No men at all. Only women. And Joanna exists in a world similar to our own, navigating the 1970s sexism, so that would be second wave feminism. And then Jael comes from a war-torn utopia where men and women are in open combat constantly. As their lives intertwine, they challenge each other's worldviews, confront patriarchal oppression, and fight, like I said, for autonomy overall. Because these women see things from four different perspectives because of their environment. The narrative blurs the lines between identity and the construct of gender, making it, and reality as well, actually making it a radical exploration of feminist science fiction. Here are my mood boards for each of the different worlds. This is Janine's world right here. You can see it's like a 1920s-esque Great Depression, if the Great Depression never ended. And then this is Janet's world, While Away, which is a utopia, so there are a lot of light colors within this palette. And then here's Joanna's world, looks a lot like our 1970s second wave feminism template over here. We love that. And then here is Jael's world. I wanted to depict Jael's world in a sort of Terminator-like-esque because it is like a futuristic world where all of this violence and chaos happens between women and men. So here are the casting for the characters. If I got to have my pick, I would choose, here's Anya right here. Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy. So she would be the librarian trapped in a conservative gender role. Anya Taylor-Joy has done a lot of different roles. She's very versatile, and because of her personality and outlook on feminist works, I feel like she would be the perfect Janine, for sure. And then, I don't know why these photos are not showing up. They are there. I promise. They'll pop up later. And then for Janet, she is a bold, no-nonsense warrior from, like I said, While Away, an all-female utopia, and my casting is Gwendolyn Christie. I feel like she would be very, very good in this role, especially because she has done a couple of films that are similar, and she just fits the part really well overall. And then Joanna. So she is the one navigating sexism within the 1970s, and my casting would be Florence Pugh for this part. She is an amazing actress, and she has played plenty of feminist roles that involve sexism and the patriarchy, societal expectations, gender normalities. So I feel like she'd be amazing as Joanna. And then, last but not least, we have Jael, who is a fierce, calculating warrior who seeks revolution. My casting would be Charlize Theron, and that is because she was in Mad Max, and she was also in a couple of other films that are, I would say, feminist, but also dealing with a lot of societal expectations, violence. So that depiction of her is kind of already seen within that character due to the Mad Max series. And then for my director, like I said, I do not know why these are not showing up at the moment, but they are on here, I promise. My director, I wanted a visionary director with experience in feminist or speculative fiction, so I chose Greta Gerwig. She has experience in a lot of roles, feminist roles, director-wise. Of course, we know her from the movie Barbie, and she has been in a lot of different genres, so she's more versatile. She's not just stuck in one genre. So I feel like science fiction, like feminist aspect, would be right up her alley. And then for cinematographer, I chose Claire Mithon from Portrait of a Lady on Fire for a visually stunning atmospheric approach. I very much like her works, and she is mostly a feminist cinematographer. And then for costume designer, I chose Jacqueline Duran, whichever you prefer. She is from Dune, Little Women, Barbie, Cruella, and much, much more. Jacqueline has worked on a lot of different costumes within her career. And she reflects like she would be able to reflect the stark differences within each universe, but also keep it to where they would also be connected within certain aspects of their clothing. And then I don't know what's supposed to be. I don't know why these slides are not working, but c'est la vie, I guess. I think these are more of her works that are meant to be on this slide. Anywho, our target audience would be science fiction fans, viewers who enjoy complex, thought-provoking speculative fiction, aka Blade Runner, Arrival, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and fans of multiverse and high-concept sci-fi with recent hits like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because of the alternate reality narratives, I think those would entice those kinds of fans. And then for feminist and LGBTQ plus audiences, I feel like those would be fans of the film. People who engage with feminist queer narratives in the film, like The Handmaid's Tale, which that directly correlates to this, and academic people who are fans of academics and literature, The Female Man has been widely studied and is truly a feminist sci-fi classic. Professors and students of gender studies, literature, and film would all be interested with this film. And here are some similar or high concept sci fi films that have performed well, aka The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. That would be the closest version of a film to what this one would be. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Annihilation, and the rise of A24 style indie sci fi suggests that unique intellectual sci fi projects can be very commercially viable. So, as we can tell by these budgets and how well they have done, especially The Handmaid's Tale having over 40 Emmy nominations. For active discussions in feminist sci fi and Reddit groups and online forums, here are some links to them. There are lots of great reviews within these and great conversations that are happening, mostly between like women who are correlating what's happening now in our society and wanting to read novels and find films that show that female bodily autonomy either being gained or lost. So, why? Why should this become a film? Well, when it comes to gender politics, feminism, and speculative fiction, this is at the forefront of cultural discussions. The Female Man is way more relevant than ever when it comes to our society today. And also, the rise of intersectional feminism in film and media makes this adaptation a very timely and necessary story. Sci-fi is evolving to include diverse, radical perspectives, and this project would definitely redefine this genre for the new generation. Overall, this isn't just a film, it's a statement, a bold, daring reimagining of science fiction and gender that will leave audiences just questioning the very fabric of reality. And I think that's what's important, to question. And that is all. Thank you for joining me for this. Hopefully, my other slides decide to work later on, but we will figure that out later. Okay, bye. Thank you.